rise for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the September 12th board meeting. We start out the board meeting, the monthly board meeting, with recognizing an employee of the month. And this month we're recognizing Vincent Brumsey, who was a groundskeeper 3 in the Parks Department, and he was hired on July 31st, 2001. And his supervisor writes, he exhibits a very positive attitude and image for the village of Southampton. His positive outlook on everything, work, home, play, that certainly is a big plus for our community. Always greets coworkers and just people out in the streets with a smile and a friendly hello. His guidance and work ethic is truly second to none. I wish this was contagious. Thanks to him for his help keeping our business district clean and free of debris. I truly enjoy the wonderful image he exhibits for us in the workplace. He's an extremely deserving employee of the month. Larry Wojcik. So on behalf of the village board and all the residents, we want to congratulate Vincent Brumsey for his employee of the month for September 2013. So good job, Vince.
Just the fourth time.
Fourth time. I mean, tell you what, he could get it every month, the guy could. Mm-hmm. He's a hustler, and that's just Larry Wood. No, I mean, it's a hustler in a good way. Works hard, yes. So who are you hanging out with?
Terminology is everything.
Okay.
You said it.
All right, so we have
but it's not contagious.
It's
Yeah,
not
right.
contagious, right? Yeah. So,
Right.
But no, he's a very good man, and he's a great member of his church and does a lot of good stuff. So we're very lucky to have him. We have a public comment. We have 2 people signed up so far. Mary Ann Tupper.
Good evening. Those of you who don't know me, my name's Mary Ann Tupper, and I'm the Director of Human Resources located at 168 Hill Street in Southampton. For the ones who do know who I am, looked at me and said, "Oh God, here she is again." Striking fear in all your hearts.
We said, thank God, here she is. Not, oh God.
I am here to ask the village board for your permission to hold the 10th annual Polar Bear Plunge on December 14th at Cooper's Beach at 10 a.m.
December 17th?
December 14th.
Oh, 14th.
14th. It's the second Saturday, the same as it always is.
Since I never go,
I know.
and I don't enjoy that at all, we'll make a motion to authorize Human Resources of the Hamptons to utilize Cooper's Beach for their annual Polar Bear Plunge on December 14th.
Thank you.
A second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, we guess we should tell Michael that we are paid for you guys to jump in the water that day. Somebody sponsors you all.
Why don't you give us a rundown on how many people participate? What's your...
We have approximately anywhere between 400 and 500 people that take the plunge on that day. The water is normally about 40 degrees. You're not in there very long. Mark always comes dressed in a wild costume. Richard always comes dressed in his black suit.
I know.
Yeah.
Same one.
There, you know what? We'll take it.
Yeah.
The money is used to support the various programs that Human Resources runs. It's become the winter event of the Hamptons. I mean, it really and truly has. One year we had almost 750 people jump in the water that year. But it's a lot of local businesses, a lot of local businessmen. The kids in the school participate. They're all sponsored. The firemen, the policemen, the Southampton Village policemen, the Southampton Village employees are all sponsored by somebody. So some of the businesses and local residents really put a lot of money into making sure that people turn out for the event. And it, you know what? It's the best fundraiser in Southampton because it's the quickest. It doesn't take a lot of time. But speaking of, Southampton Village employees, we have been the beneficiary of their hard work for 9 years, and they do a fantastic job. Between them and the village police department, we couldn't do it without them. And the ambulances and the volunteer fire departments. I mean, we have to take precautions that somebody could, have an accident going in that water. And we always have, lots and lots and lots of support to make sure that that doesn't happen. And that says a whole lot for the firemen, the police department, and the ambulances. So I think that I want to state publicly how much we appreciate what they do.
And they wouldn't do it if a person like you was not doing the work that you do.
But I told you about the first time they decided that they were going to have this polar bear plunge, right? And the board's all sitting down there saying, oh yeah, this is great. This is great. This will be great fundraiser. And I looked at them and I said, holy crap. And they said, what are you talking about, Marion? It'll be great. I said, you guys aren't going in the water. I am.
That's right.
You're right.
That's right.
So, but I have a lot of people that stand behind me, and I'm fond of telling them that I get all the glory and they do all the work. So it really and truly is a community effort, from all year long at Human Resources.
Well, we've had employees here that have been injured, and you guys have stepped up and helped out their families, and I know it's you do great work there, and you got
Thank you.
great volunteer staff and paid staff, and you guys do incredible job. We're very fortunate in this community to have you guys
Thank you.
part of it, a big part of it.
And I'll see you all on the 14th.
Yeah. Gonna help me pick my costume out there?
No, you always do such a
No,
wonderful
my
job.
wife always does a good job.
Well, she does a fantastic
Yeah.
job. I don't think anybody's ever going to beat Kiss.
You're
No,
right.
wasn't that great? That was a great
That was the
one.
best.
Yeah.
That was the
Thank
best.
you, guys.
Thanks.
All right.
Take care, Marion.
Take care. Evelyn
Yeah, she's gonna. Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
drive our
yeah,
convertibles
okay.
down there together.
gonna get an North Star.
Susan.
Good evening. Susan Stevenson. I live in the village on Toilsome Lane. I was amazed that this village latch rezoning came up on the agenda so quickly, since I check the agenda of this meeting quite often. And I notice that there's almost no one in attendance. And I would think that some of the neighbors might have been interested in attending. I don't know.
Well, this is not a. It's just a scheduled public hearing. So
Oh,
it's
it's
not a.
just-
It's
you're
not
not
a public
discussing
hearing. No,
it?
we're not discussing it at all.
Oh, okay. Well, then I have one other comment on the agenda. Just,
But we have talked about this before, and in public sessions, and we've talked about it as being something that will come up in the future.
Right. Because I'm very interested in the public having access to these meetings about issues. And if you don't know, I mean, you obviously all know what's going on, but some of us have to learn about it later on.
Yeah.
And item number 2, Beechwood. I went to a town meeting regarding this issue, but it wasn't called the Beechwood annexation petition, which I found a little misleading, actually, because it's Bishop's Pond, is that correct? And that's how it was referred to in the town meeting. And I'm sure that that wasn't intentional, but it would be nice for those people who were interested in that to try to find out what that's about. Because I've never heard it referred to
Yeah,
as.
I've removed myself
I
from the
know
whole
you
thing,
have.
so I don't
I'm
go to
glad you
meetings.
have,
The
by the way.
petition for public
I'll let
hearing,
the,
the petition for the annexation was filed
By Beechwood?
this spring by Beechwood, yes.
That's the title of the petition.
Well, in the town meeting, it was never referred to that way.
We had, I don't know what you mean by town meetings, there were joint public hearings of the village board and the town board at
I
town
went to
hall
one where,
back in May and June.
I went to the
And that
June
goes-
meeting.
Pardon?
The June meeting I went to. Okay.
This wasn't a regular meeting of the town board, it
It
was
was
a joint.
special.
There was a joint public meeting of the
It
village
was a
board and the
special
town.
meeting that I went to that
I
came
don't know
up
if you were
also.
there or not, but the board was, and I was, and
Well,
Steve and
there was
Brenda
another
were.
one. All right, I think it should be as clear as, if that was the legal filing, then during the discussions, that's not how it was referred to. So I just want to know people
Well,
just
if you-
need to know what's
The
going
the
on.
Bishop Ponds thing that you're referring to was the name of the development,
True, on which sits the land that,
but the land is owned by...
wanna annex.
The land is owned by Beechwood.
right? I'm just saying, in the meeting I went to, so that everyone would know who lives around there or is interested in this issue, that there would be
I
consistency.
don't know what meeting you went to, but it was referred to as Beechwood at the formal public hearings.
Okay, well,
Okay.
difference of what's going, I
Maybe
asked.
maybe at the meeting they referred to it as Bishop's Pond,
They
so people
certainly
would
did.
know what it is.
Right,
But
okay.
They might have also said Beechwood annexation, but you picked up Bishop's
I
Pond
don't know,
because
I
you knew
might
that.
actually be able to find it, but I don't think
Right.
it's worth the time or the effort. Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else from the public would like to speak? Okay. I'm gonna close the first public comment section. I've got to ask the question, right? So, we have a couple of other individuals are here. So, board presentations, we have none, no public hearings, communications to the board, none. Suggested resolutions.
Item 1, resolved that the reading of the minutes for the work session of August 20th, 2013 be dispensed with, and those minutes be accepted as filed by the village administrator. The actions taken at the meeting be and hereby are ratified and approved. Got the motion?
Make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Resolved that the claims for the warrants dated September 12th, 2013 totaling $182,374.54. Warrant 6 General Fund, $5,444.68. Warrant 7 Trust Fund, and $116,679.58. Warrant 4 Capital Reserve Fund. And village payrolls for the period from August 22nd, 2013 to September 5th, 2013 be ordered and approved. Got a motion?
Make the motion.
Second? Second. Discussion? General Fund, 71 Hill, October rent for the Building Inspector's Office, $4,635. Allied 100, AED supplies for the Fire Department, $1,574. Page 3, CSEA Employment Benefit Fund, August insurance premium, $22,463.89. Page 4, cash productions, video services for August, $1,371.65. Page 5, coastal fire systems, portable generator for the fire department, $1,716.47. Corliss Auto Body, July towing, $2,000. Page 6, East End hose testing for the fire department, $4,993.90. Page 7, Eastern Suffolk Proceeds EAP program, $5,411.50. EMT Government Accounting Services, accounting for August, $1,242. Page 9, Hampton IT Experts, twice, once for the police department, $1,114, and for the village hall, $1,280. Page 10, going on to page 11, Herrick Hardware, August supplies, $1,114.94. Page 12, Incident Response Technology, Hazmat Supplies, $2,999. JEMC, final payment for September Fest, the PR, $2,750. Johnson Electrical Construction, relamping and traffic signal maintenance, $2,365. Page 15, Moore Medical Corporation, ambulance supplies, $1,772.20. Morgan Auto Supply, going on to page 16, $1,992.64. Parts for the garage. Patricia Munn, Medicare reimbursement, $1,710. Nextel Communications, August cell phone bill, $1,369.01. Page 17, Norsec and Sons, carding for the Highway Department, $5,257.50. And for Cooper's, $1,073.28. Office of the State Controller, July parking fines, $18,145.50. Page 18, Pitney Bowes, mail for the fire department, $1,519.99. Page 20, Rapid Recovering, July towing services, $1,700. Page 21, Ronco cleaning supplies for the building department, $1,385.20. Page 22, Sprague, 3,000 gallons of gasoline, $9,492.90. Page 23, Suffolk County Water Authority for the Parks Department, $1,197.33, and for the Fire Department, $1,007.25. Page 24, Trius Boom Repair for the vac truck, $1,251.94. Page 25, VHP Engineering for the Safe Routes to School, grant $8,594.81. Wayne Scott Sand and Gravel, screen sand for the Park Department, $1,418.68. Trust warrant. Gregory Mensch, tax sale redemption, $1,089.12, and Anthony Punnett, tax sale redemption, $2,008.90.28. Capital Reserve warrant, A. Ottavino, payment towards a World War I memorial restoration, $68,543.60. AEC Engineering, design services for the second floor of Village Hall, $16,784.18. Chaliff and Rogers, consulting for the World War I memorial, $4,645. Physio Control life packs for the ambulance, $12,012.80. And South Shore Fire and Safety Scott packs for the fire department, $14,694. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 3, resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the reestablishment of the village's capital reserve funds as of May 31st, 2013 as follows. Fire Facilities Reserves, $85,012.43. American Disability, $5,178.80. Office Equipment, $11,204.55. Facilities Acquisition, $526,738.62. Fire Truck Reserve, $2,161,896.99. Fire Equipment Reserve, $1,361,284.62. Major Equipment Reserve, $23,051.35, and Beach Reserve, $7,646.66, for a total of $4,182,14.02. Have a motion?
Make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 4, resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the prorating of interest for the fiscal year ending May 31st, 2013 into the capital reserve funds as follows. Fire Facilities Reserves, $49.08. American Disability Act, $2.80. Office Equipment Reserve, $557. Facilities Acquisition, $16.93. Fire Truck Reserve, $871.70. Fire Equipment Reserve, $542. Major Equipment Reserve, $61.57. And Beach Reserve, $338, for a total of $1,553.03. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 5, resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the adoption of the bond resolution dated October 2013, that should be, in the maximum amount of $450,000 for the purchase of various items of equipment for the DPW Department of Ambulance Corps. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Further discussion. This is the bond resolution we discussed at the last board meeting for the purchase of the life packs for the ambulance department, the sweeper and PD vehicles, and the Parks Department and the rush.
Any further discussion on this?
The maximum amount is includes
It will be
all of that.
$450, but it's, the bond resolution's in the book, but it will be at $450.
It's a good time.
The roll call vote, Trustee Yaz,
Aye.
Trustee Irving,
Aye.
Mayor Epley,
Aye.
Trustee McZan,
Aye.
Trustee Hatcher.
Aye.
So moved. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the attached schedule of budget transfers to eliminate overages for the period ended September 12th, 2013. Can I have a motion?
A motion?
Second?
Second.
Discussion. Item 1 is $1,550 into Cooper's overtime, coming from Cooper's salaries. Next one is $15 into electric contractual, coming from a clerk contractual. Next item is $20,000 into claims, coming from contingency. Next one is $5,000 to street maintenance seasonal from street maintenance personal. That one I just want to point out, that was because we didn't have a line item for that when we hired the seasonal person in replacement of Bennett. And the last one is employee benefits workers' comp, $270 coming from contingency. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following payments from the capital reserve accounts, subject to permissive referendum. A. Ottavino Corp., $68,543.60 from Facilities Reserve. AEC Engineering, $16,784.18 from Facilities Reserve. Chaliff and Rogers, $4,645 from Facilities Reserve. Physio Control, $12,012.80 from Major Equipment Reserve. And South Shore Safety, $14,694 from Fire Equipment Reserve. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the last one, resolved that the Board of Trustees authorize the village administrator to sign a construction management contract with AEC Engineering for construction oversight and design services for the renovation of the second floor of Village Hall. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
Yes. Could you fill me in on this?
Sure.
Because I'm a little, I don't.
Yeah, Mark Schiffert has been, spending a lot of time on the,
Excuse me, who?
Mark Schiffert from AEC
Oh, yes,
Engineering
yes, yes.
has been doing the design of the bid work, the design work for the second floor. And this provides that once we start construction on the elevator starting Monday, he'll be doing an oversight of the construction, make sure the shoring is correct, OSHA regulations are being maintained, all the concrete testing is correct, the pressures are correct, and just the proper maintenance, proper supervision of the shaft, the elevator.
Of the shaft.
Right, and the elevator. It's a complete job.
And then he's also gonna go inside the building and work on that? Is that where he's?
Oh, he's going to be
oversee-
in this. They're starting Monday morning with the demolition in the basement.
I didn't know that we were
And what they're
hiring
doing is
someone
that
to do
what they have to do is they have to shore up, they have to do the foundation first, and then do the shaft construction walls, which will be cinder block. That will support the first floor. Once that is cured and hardened and leveled, and there's no shifting in the floors, then they cut open the hole in the first floor. Then they build from the first floor to the second floor to support the second floor, and then do the same demolition on between the second and the third floor, and then do the rest of the shaft.
We have to have somebody qualified to do the supervision and monitoring of the entire project. And village, none of our village employees are, professional engineers that would,
They send out concrete
Qualified.
samples to the lab, make sure it's curing correctly, and can support the weight, and do core samples.
Did he give us any sort of a ballpark figure as to what that will cost?
Roughly about $25,000 in total. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, discussion items?
The village latch rezoning.
Okay, on the Village Latch rezoning, a petition for a change of zone was filed by Marta Beyer, Martin White, and the Southampton Village Latch Inn, Inc. on August 15, 2013. After that was filed, I told the petitioner's attorney that we would need an environmental assessment form, Part 1, with an addendum before we would schedule a public hearing. Today, the environmental assessment form, Part 1, with the addendum, was filed with the Board of Trustees. So we now have what I told her we would need before we could schedule a public hearing. It doesn't mean that we accept everything that's in the assessment. It just means that we have an assessment so that at the public hearing, the public can comment not only on the petition, but also on the assessment. So at this point, the next step would be to schedule a public hearing on the petition and to refer the petition to the Village Planning Commission for any comments that the Planning Commission might have. So if you want to do that, you can make a motion to schedule a public hearing on the petition for change of zone to be held on October 10th. Is that the right date?
Yep.
To be held on October 10, 2013. And also that the village administrator refer the petition to the Village Planning Commission for its comments.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 2, Beechwood annexation.
Okay. I have prepared a written determination for consideration by the Village Board of Trustees on this petition. As you're aware, joint public hearings were held by the Town Board and the Village Board at the Town Hall on May 9 and June 6, 2013. And after those hearings, the petitioner submitted an EAF Part 1, And the Town Planning Division recently prepared an EAF Part 2 on September 5. And you have all of those documents. And so this matter is now ready for a determination. If you're satisfied with the draft determination that is before you, it would be appropriate to take a vote on it.
Somebody else gonna have to take the, Rich, you're gonna take the lead on this, because I can't,
If you're prepared to take a vote, it would be somebody should make a motion to adopt the written determination as presented at this meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
And you should take a roll call vote.
Any further discussion?
Any further discussion on this from
No.
anybody? Bill, any discussion on it?
To me, it's a no-brainer.
Any?
No, I
Do you have
think that, it should be mentioned that as we did meet jointly with the town on several occasions, I think with 3 times, 4 times?
And there were two
Two
joint public hearings.
joint meetings that one Susan's referring to.
So it has been discussed.
Oh, yeah, this would have been ready for a vote sooner than now, except that the secret documents had to be completed.
Mhm.
So it was delayed from a vote in August until tonight because of that.
Right, and then the town has to vote themselves on it.
Yeah, in order for this annexation to be fully approved, it has to be approved by both the village board and the town board. So this is part of the process. If you approve it tonight, it still doesn't get approved unless and until the town board also votes on it.
From what I remember, a lot of people came up and spoke at the meetings. The first one had more people present at the meetings you're referring to. Both town and village, and some residents in the area, so I think some reservations were brought up as far as, whether the town was losing or gaining, and I think these documents prove that as long as we meet the requirements what the town is looking for, they're not going to be losing anything. The village residents, the way I look at it personally is I'm here to represent the village residents, so as long as they're not losing or getting hurt here, which from everything I review and been told and presented, doesn't hurt the village taxpayer in any way, shape, or form. And that's the big thing here. I know some people raise some reservations about setting precedents. I think, again, it's been addressed in these documents that this is a pretty unique situation based on the location of this particular area we're talking about. So, and I personally had my own reservations about that as well, but again, as far as precedent setting and so forth. But again, what's been presented here, and what we've listened to from people who know much better than I about it, as far as engineering and so forth, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't go ahead with it as a village board as well. That's all I gotta say about it.
I think you said it all, Rich.
And of course, as the attorney said, now this has to go to the town, and they have to also vote on it. So with that, I guess we'll move to a vote on it.
Roll call vote. Trustee Ostremski.
Aye.
Trustee Irving.
Aye.
Mayor abstains. Trustee
Abstain.
McGinn.
Aye.
Trustee Hatcher.
Aye.
So moved.
Okay, before you move on, you don't need to type this whole thing for the minutes. You can just annex this determination to the minutes of the meeting and add the vote will appear in the minutes, but, you can annex it to the minutes rather than retyping the whole thing. And just add the votes at the bottom. I left a blank space so you can add 4 ayes, and then that'll be all set. And then that can be also filed with the town clerk. Once you've added those votes, you can also, if you would email it to me, I'll forward it to Carl Benincasa, the Assistant Town Attorney, or you can send it directly to him, whichever you want.
Okay.
There will be follow-up steps, just in case, just so you're aware of it. If the town board also approves it, then the next step is to, we would adopt a local law formally annexing it. And that's a local law that doesn't require any public hearing because the public hearing process was done up through the determination. But that is the final step. If both municipalities approve it, down the road, we would be adopting a local law, and that local law would formally annex it and would specify the effective date of the annexation. So there will be a follow-up step, but we can't do anything further until we see whether the town board approves it or not. If the town board doesn't approve it, then it's over unless it's taken to court, which is a whole nother thing. Okay.
Okay, Counselor.
All right, the next one is request for the homecoming parade, the Mara Athletic Club, to be held on 9/27 at 5:30 to 6:30. It's a Friday night, approximately 200 participants.
Let's see, homecoming parade and homecoming games on Friday night this year. This is September Fest. It's starting that night, but it's they don't interfere with each other. This is actually before
Yeah, it comes through early.
September Fest.
It starts at 5:30.
Yeah. So, and it's a pretty good thing because they have all the different schools and the different classes all put floats and march in the parade. It's a great community thing. So.
You still go down Main Street?
Yep, because Main Street, Job's Lane, Windmill, Nugent, back up to the elementary school. So, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the Southampton Mariner Athletic Club to host the homecoming parade on September 27th in accordance with their application.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next item is the Cooper's Neck Pond drainage bids. Back in July, we went out to bid Cooper's Neck drainage improvements. We had 3 bids come in. South Fork Asphalt for $109,904. Razor Industries, $173,015. Keith Grimes, Inc., $328,476.50. Nelson and Pope has reviewed and prepared a bid comparison sheet. And, obviously recommends that we accept the bid for South Fork Asphalt.
It always amazes me the difference in these prices, so 109 to 328.
And why are they saying to take South Fork asphalt?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're $109,904.
Oh, sorry, that was at the bottom, right? Low price. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
It's quite a disparity. Okay.
Yeah, no, this is a big project. This will eliminate a lot of the drainage problems along Meadow Lane in this area. And then, it just is, that area is a big problem because it's just really inadequate drainage.
Yeah, it's always
So,
a continual problem
yeah,
for the homeowners and the streets.
Yeah.
Just for
Right.
a regular pedestrian
Mm.
cart traveler.
so, okay.
They hope to do, Mark, do they hope to drop the level of the pond, or?
Well, yeah, because one of the problems is that, take the Meadow Club, for example, it's flooded out because it's really inadequate drainage out of Cooper's Neck Pond. And this actually puts a proper drain pipe in there, which will allow the flow to,
Where?
it will end up in the bay. That's where it ends up at.
Right.
It actually
So-
goes in the bay now, but it's probably not adequate.
Well, the drainage pipes would 9 inches, 12
Accelerated.
inches or something like that.
It's
Using
9
those.
inches.
Yeah. It's a tiny, tiny drain pipe that gets clogged all the time. And this is a substantial drain pipe and reinforced.
I've already tried many ways of trying to drain if I can get further away to the next one, so yeah, this is,
Yeah, this will result.
we've exhausted every resource to try to get rid of that water.
Is it does it, I hopefully only work one way, that it drains out and can't,
There's a
in a
check valve
storm,
built.
maximum high tide, it can't drain back in?
There's a check valve built into it that prevents the
Great.
backflow. 'Cause that was one of the things that I wanted to see on high tide, is you see high tide
the
at,
other
on Meadow Lane there, but, yeah.
Polar bear plunge in
Yeah, that's right,
the lake.
that's right. But I think it's, we've looked at this for, I don't know, how many years now, Rich? Like 4 or 5 years we've been
Since
talking.
I've been
about
around
that.
at least, so that's already working on 6, so.
When they work on it, could they get rid of some of the phragmite?
That's a whole other,
Yeah.
that's a whole other process that has
I
to be.
know that. I'm just saying it. I know it
They were
is.
trying to run the pipe all the way to feed into, going towards Halsey Neck, I mean,
Right.
so,
Yeah.
that proved fruitless.
Yeah, so it was, this should help out with that, so. All right, so, I need to make a motion to accept. So make a motion to accept the South Fork asphalt bid for the Cooper's Neck Pond drainage improvements of $109,904.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next item is just, get a lot of comments over the summertime that people ask for directions to this building, and I realize there's no number outside nor a label to the building. Over the right window on the north side,
you say it's across from
stones, it
Bill's
says
office?
Village Building. Over the door it says Southampton, and there's nothing on the other side. So we're referring to everything as a brick building with tall white columns, so I'm just bringing it up for discussion, whether we want to put 23 on it somewhere, or up over the top, Southampton Village Hall, Village of Southampton Hall, you know, something like that. We can propose various issues, but again, it's just,
Take a look at it.
yeah.
Nothing on the doors that say 23 Main Street?
Nope. Nope.
Yeah.
Just beach.
The most
actually, beach beds
recognition we got
situations.
is when Royal Pains did their Southampton Post Office sign that they left up there afterwards, and a lot of people came in looking for stamps, but that
Yeah,
was
that's
about
right.
it.
Yeah.
That was funny.
So when you get a chance, take a look at it, and
Ever,
we bounce around some ideas.
and just Southampton currently on one side?
There's, over the door, there's this cement inside the brick, and that says Southampton, and that same cement bar, I would say, is over each window. The one on the right side of the building says Village Building. The one on the left has absolutely nothing on it. But a lot of people say, where are you? You know, and especially in the summertime with August, they're like looking for their beach permits and they can't find the building, and we realize that they really, you know, I mean, there's no number, there's no label, so just
Interesting.
take a look and
That is interesting.
give some thoughts.
Very interesting.
All right, the last item is Coalition for Women's Cancers. They had come to us back in July with regard to putting pink and teal ribbons on the trees during the months of September and October. September is Ovarian Cancer Month, and October is Breast Cancer Month. They were doing 2 ribbons, and you guys asked for a sample, and here they are.
They are.
Those are the colors.
Oh, that's rather
Vibrant.
bright. Wow. And they're going to be wrapped on every single tree?
I believe so, right, Brenda?
Wow. I don't know.
We're halfway through September at this point, but
That looks really bright.
You're the fashionista here, so.
I don't know. I mean, I always liked the pink ribbons on the trees,
Mhm.
but they were like a pale pink, and you knew they were pink, and they,
Neon.
you know, this is like neon.
Right.
Sort of. I don't know. I don't like those. And I like the idea of it, but I'm not crazy about those. I don't. Maybe that's being
My thing was just about having them on for 2 months. That was mine.
Yeah.
That was my,
I guess
I
that's
didn't
all.
mind October, when we just painted the town pink for breast cancer. But that's the,
I think they're two very good causes, but
yeah,
I
me too.
think
Yeah.
to put those on every single tree, and they're bright and they're, it was one thing to tie the trees in the pale pink.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little
And they want October and
September and October.
September and October. Wow.
Well, September's new,
Yeah.
we haven't been asked for that before, and I think it's getting to be a little late at this point, and I think if we had gotten a little more notice, I mean, this goes back to July, but
Right.
this is the first time we're seeing this. I don't know, I don't particularly like it, but
Yeah.
I feel bad because I think both of them are very good causes. I think that's way over the top for our village. I do.
Are other places is it going anywhere else? I mean, do we know?
Not that I'm aware of. Brenda, are you aware of any other locations?
No, I
No.
I think for that period of time, maybe they could shorten the period of time.
Or we can go back and ask
I
to
don't like
tone
the
down the
ribbons,
color
though.
and just do October.
Well, you're the style guru, I'm not.
It's not
I'm
a style,
a
it's not that.
battleship gray guy.
Yeah, even the pink ones certainly are highly visible.
Right.
Yeah,
So that
How long do they want to do it
Almost
for? What were
2
they?
months,
2
for
months.
the rest of
it
September
just
and all of
seems
October.
From
like
away.
over.
Yeah.
I think
overdoing
last
it
year
very
the
big.
pink was a little more subdued.
That's what I'm saying. It was always,
And that was
we all
for
knew
what?
what it
How long?
was,
That was
and
just October.
Yeah.
Just October.
Well,
Okay.
you know, color recognition, the pink is more recognizable of the event
Right.
than that. I think you'd have people wondering what that is.
Very
right.
true.
I mean, because that's really like a shocking pink.
Yeah.
And where do they want to put them? Every tree from right
Every
away?
tree, there's 60-something trees on Main Street, and we would have that on every
So
single
just in
tree.
the village district, Main and Jobs,
Is it
or
right?
Hill Street and Hampton, that too, or just Main and Jobs?
I don't think Hampton Road, I think it was just Main and Jobs.
I think it's Main and Jobs.
And we want to go back and for October and just a more
Let's,
subdued pink.
let's
Subdued
let's
pink.
talk to Susan, just go back to that.
Right.
I feel
Okay.
bad, but
Yeah,
that was
I think you're right, Michael. I mean, people recognize
it's
the
pink.
pink.
Doesn't have to
and,
be
pink
shocking.
ribbons are almost a logo for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Right.
And, but yeah, I don't know if it would have the same appeal.
No, I
that
agree
type
with
of,
you.
Okay.
Good
Next
cause,
year, they
huh?
could do a
That's a
nice
good call.
pink with the blue stripe in it.
On every other tree.
Yeah, right. And that big
Yeah,
one,
it almost looks like Christmas came here early, you know.
like a bad Christmas package.
Okay, let's move on here. So, so we have comments from board members here. Trustee Yaz.
Okay. As our summer has closed to an end, I just wanted to reach out to all our departments, our DPW, Parks Building, and the Highway Department for taking care of a very busy summer. I think everybody will agree that it was much more busy than as expected, and there was more volume in people here. Thank all the police department, our volunteer fire department, and EMS, SVVA departments for, again, putting up with a lot of calls. There were increase in number, and it was a busy summer. So I thank all our departments and our village employees for keeping, and village hall staff for addressing all the beach permits and the usual, for keeping the summer flowing and moving smoothly and safely. I also want to thank people and all the volunteer departments that participated in the Southampton Fire Muster this past Saturday. So again, I thank people for showing up to participate and watch their volunteers compete against one another. And I thank people who showed up, the public, and I also apologize to anyone who may have been inconvenienced by the event. Hopefully we can work that out for future events. Other than that, we're moving into the next season, fall, with a lot of good events. So I know the mayor will mention more of that, but that's all I got.
Mike?
Just really as a little bit of a wake-up call and a reminder that we all should be cognizant of it. If you went down to the beach today, there's a pretty good storm offshore. And once again, that water is up to the dune level. And I was sort of interested in it, so I went down to the Mecox Cut. And the Mecox Cut is absolutely flat, and the water was all the way up to the beach entranceway. So, you know, we got a long ways to go in watching our beach this winter, and we should pay attention to it pretty strongly now. Because it's, you know, it still is suffering from Sandy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Nancy?
Going along with what Rich was saying, I'd like to thank the Parks Department, who works very, very hard on all of our properties throughout the village. I think they did a great job this year, and I think that people should take note of it, and I'd like to thank them all.
Great. Bill?
A couple of minor, quick things, I should say. Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you just distributed something that indicated that the revenues at Cooper's Beach this year were down $13,000
That's correct.
from last year. And the only explanation, really, we had a lot lot of weather early in the year that wasn't beach weather, and even during the summer, there were occasional Saturdays and Sundays that were just lousy. I think they did a wonderful job of when the weather gave them a chance. So
The two big hits there were also Memorial Day weekend and Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
The weather wasn't cooperative.
Started and ended the same way.
Yep.
really just lousy. So anyhow, it's just what it is. One thing that I am very happy that finally, after pushing and pulling for over a year, we finally got the double yellow lines painted on some of the streets like Hampton Road and the 1.3 miles of Hampton Road that were new and didn't have any lines, but also they painted, Hill Street and all the double yellows. And frankly, the bicycle lanes coming into town and it really makes the roads look, when the lines are shabby, the road looks shabby in the town. So I was just thrilled that they finally, and I thank Gary Gillespie for making an extra host of phone calls to the contractor, because I think the money was approved when? For
June
that.
of 2012.
Yeah, and just to get it done. Anyhow, I'm delighted. Another thing that, Mark, I mentioned this to you once before, but Gary has had a couple of meetings now with the fellow from the high school about installing diagonal parking lines more or less in front of the high school and towards the southern part of the school, because it's astonishing the traffic jam that they get there every day. Once school starts, the kid, I think some of the kids must drive 2 cars to school or something. It's astonishing. And but it would hopefully do for them what it did for the hospital and that, to increase the parking. So he'll be in touch with you, and then you've got to make a decision. I mean, we're doing it for them. But I don't think it's any great expense, and I think it would really solve. If it creates another 20 or 25 parking places for them, it would be a big deal. One other thing I was asked by a local citizen recently, and that is that they said that, and Chief, I wish you'd, I need to know who to pursue this with, that coming out of the library onto Cooper's Farm, they said it is one of the deadliest exits in the village. And of course, the the driveway for the condos that I live in is right next to it. And I'm only 30 yards up the road or whatever it is, but for me, I can see northwest what's coming, but I can't see what's coming up. But for them, they've got a more deadly problem, and that is there's such a curve right there that they can't see people coming from Cooper's Farm towards Windmill Lane. And they were saying we ought to have some kind of a parabolic mirror or something across the street. And I don't know if that'll do it. I'd love somebody to look at it that knows traffic problems. And that actually what I think the biggest problem is that people coming down Cooper's Farm towards the village, it's funny how you get going 35 miles an hour and all of a sudden here's this, 35 isn't some god-awful speed, but when I have to worry coming out of my driveway, coming up from Windmill Lane. That's the blind spot for me. And a couple of times I started to pull out, and then at the last second. But for them, they've got a lot of traffic, and we've got a minor thing. And I wish somebody, I don't know who's the appropriate person to look at it, and whether it needs some really a sign that tells people to really slow down before they come there.
That's a good idea.
But I think they honestly have a good point, and I'm sorry that I live next door because it may sound self-serving, but frankly, the library does get a
It's not self-serving
A
because
lot
it's a
of-
very dangerous road.
Yeah.
Because
I
there-
come
there
out
are
of the
people
library,
walking
notice
there,
that.
there are
Yes.
people on bicycles there.
Oh, I see.
There,
and an occasional skateboarder is coming down that
skateboard,
hill
right.
and all that sort of thing. And it's,
There's some blind
but who's
spots.
the proper person to look at it and
Ron
make it?
Hill.
Should we go to Ron Hill or do the
I think-
police department or?
I think probably we can get Gary to go over
Gary.
and John
Hmm?
Mostowski to go over and look at
With
it.
your approval, I'd like
Oh,
you
yeah,
to
let's do
instruct
that.
Steve to have him look at it, and then I wish you would consult with me just to let me know what their final answer is, because I want to get back to this person, but it,
Some signage that says blind
it-
driveway or
it
something.
frankly,
Yeah.
I'm amazed how many times, if I don't look left again, I'll look right, and I can see up Cooper's Farm. They can't. They're just
Right.
around the curve, and you think you're clear, and you start to pull out, and somebody comes winging around there, and so it's a tough one. So I wish you
Okay,
would take
I'll
it
talk
up with Gary and
No problem.
go from there. Other than that, hope to get my lowest score out of my handicap before Sunday. So
Yeah. It isn't one thing that, Bill and I did go to a meeting with Southampton
Yes, that's
Town.
The 39.
And with the police department and members of the town board and we discussed accidents on County Road 39.
yeah,
And
very interesting.
one of the it was a very good meeting, and they have an action plan that they're putting in place. And I think the most significant component to that action plan is that they have creating an administrator on-call system within the town department, which because I think one of the issues that they've run into is that the police officer, the sergeant, will respond to the scene, and they're afraid to make decisions, and so I think that holds up the process. So the administrator on call, which will be lieutenant and above, at the department will be individuals they can reach out to, and they'll make the decisions about how to clear, move traffic out of the way, open lanes up, have that communication with the medical examiner. Bill, what else?
You know what I really think is obvious listening to them and talking with them, that it's these outside agencies that have to come in. I mean, if it was just a matter of the fire department and the ambulance people taking care of the wounded and the dead and all that sort of thing, that doesn't take all that long. And yes, you can have oil spills or petroleum, or gasoline spills. And but it's this business of taking the photo reconstruction crowd and wherever they're coming from, and then you have the National Transportation Safety Board, and then the coroner, and that's what seems to add like 5 hours to the darn thing. And I
Right.
think they're going to try and work their way around it, and also have a superior officer there who's not afraid to give the command to open a lane or two. And because police officers, I think, they live in a very rigid world, and if you step outside of those rules and something goes wrong, then your fanny's in the vice, and so they get almost so officious that it creates a disaster instead of dealing with it. But I think they're onto the right track, and
I think it's more litigious than officious. I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
if they make the wrong, if they're the ones who
Yes.
put their butt on the line, and then it goes south and
absolutely. Yeah,
somebody
no,
gets
I
hurt,
understand that, but
then it's beyond officious. But that
they
is
were
really.
talking about getting this photographic reconstruction thing for future litigation and all that sort of thing. They were talking, I guess the camera work cost, I think, $125,000 to buy the photograph. But then he said on the internet that he saw one for $15,000
eBay?
that maybe doesn't do it in color or whatever. But I think they're going to move on that and get those things done so that you don't have these foolish things making an 8-hour extravaganza out of something that really should take 2 or 3 hours maybe. And anyhow, I think they're barking up the right tree.
And it's like a three-dimensional accident reconstruction
Yep.
camera system, and that they have to send people off to training, and they say to them, well, let's get the numbers, because if the village participated in the cost of that, and because I think the village, most of the incidents are all on County Road 39 that have a severe negative impact on the village of Southampton. If we helped to cover some of the costs and partnered with them on that, I think it would help us all. So they're pulling numbers together. So, but it was a very good meeting,
It really was.
and thanks to Christine and Bridget also at the town that did a nice job putting it all together and the work that they've done, and so it was good.
Mark, I have one other thing. Just it's minor, but it's another. It's like this painting of the lines. I reminded myself. The other thing that I really wish we would instruct our highway department to do. We talked about putting lines on the parking lines on the north side of the hospital. Charlie, you brought that up when? A year and a half ago? And it just, because parking gets wasted when you just have a blank street, and if you have the boxes in there. The other thing is in front of Town Hall on Hampton Road, particularly on the north side of the road, but they should paint boxes in there on both sides, because people end up taking, 2 cars take 3 spaces and so on. And then one thing, what is the gentleman that lives on Meeting House Lane right next to the hospital? And we put a no parking sign, on the west side of his property. But if we could at least instruct them to paint one parking space where that sign begins or ends, because you find people end up parking 3/4 of their cars past the
That's
sign
true.
and so on. And if there was just one box there, and they may be able to paint 2. There's another driveway involved, so I don't know whether there's room for 2. But frankly, what is his name? Feinberg, yes.
Doug Feinberg.
And it gets abused, and frankly, every time I drive by it and see some car that's 2/3 of its parking beyond the sign, you want to call and have somebody get a ticket. But if there was a simple box, and just paint one box,
Okay.
and that'll be the end
So
of
we
it.
can paint the box and hope that they stay inside of it.
Well, if they don't, I think then you can deal with that. You know what to do.
Yeah. And then I just want to talk about a couple things that are coming. We have Septemberfest. It's in the heavy planning stages right now. We've got a lot of great activities starting Friday night with the Rotary Club. It's got live music in the park. The Rotary Club's doing food and stuff there. It's, on Saturday, the 28th, there's a whole list of activities going on, children's events. There's shows. There's the Maniac
Chowder
Pumpkin
contest.
Carvers. What's that? The
Chowder
Chowder
contest.
Contest. Keith Davis and Golden Paris doing a nice job putting it together. We've got quite a few people they're going to be there a lot. Bands all day in the park and in a variety of spots throughout the entire village where we have live music. It's in the last couple of years has been great. I think we're headed to another great event this time. Nice enthusiastic group of people working. So it
We got
should
a third
be
day
a
this
lot
year,
of fun.
too.
What's
We're
that?
going to a third day this year.
In the third day on
Park.
Sunday is going to be
Art show in the park.
the art show in the park, which is will be nice.
This is
So
the 3rd year? 4th?
this is
3rd, right?
Technically the 4th, but really the 3rd.
3rd as in its present state.
yeah.
Good way to put it.
So, and then we have just at the Southampton Center that day is the kickoff for the fall show, which is the Charles Adams Foundation has a show. He did the Adams Family and did all the cartoons in the New Yorker magazine, and they've got this wonderful collection of stuff. So it's going to be quite an exhibit, and it's working towards a Halloween party at the end of October in the building, which will be a lot of fun. And also the
It's an
Hamptons.
adult Halloween party, isn't it?
Well,
True.
Yes,
yes,
it is an adult
yeah,
Halloween party.
it's for adults.
So I want
yeah.
to make that
So-
point, because a lot
Well,
of
no,
people
I mean,
may.
one of the things they are doing is that they're working on a haunted house, which would be open for families and
Yeah.
stuff. So,
You can go.
yeah. What's that? Okay. But it would be it should be a fun time. So then the Hamptons International Film Festival is going to run a box office out of there
Pre-haunted.
and do some
No.
screening. I mean, at Southampton Center, Stevie did a great job this summer working with them. Had over 6,000 visits in there. I might have talked about this before, but it was we're working on next year to do as good or better than what we did, and it was a great kickoff to it. So it's been
That was a
Good
good
start.
job.
yeah, it was a great start. Great start to refocused use of that building. So. And then I just wanted to also, John Westerhoff, who was at John Duck's Restaurant, one of the owners there for a long time, who was a 27-year member of the Southampton Fire Department, passed away. Our sympathies go out to him, his family, and his loved ones there. He was a active member, and you might have remembered him going in the bar, behind the bar, working there, and he was a good guy, quiet guy, but he was a good guy, hard-working guy. And then finally, I want to congratulate Michael on his marriage of his son. So congratulations.
Thank you.
That was a big event. So Max,
Journey of a
Yeah.
Thousand Nights, Michael? I mean,
Yeah, just about.
so, but that's
But he did it.
He did it.
He finally
So
pulled the trigger, huh?
yeah, so
Okay.
good kid, and congratulations to your family and
thank you.
stuff. So that's fantastic. So, with that being said, anybody from the public would like to speak? Okay, so I'm going to make a motion to close the public portion of this, to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel matters.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?